It's Le Crunch.
Le Crunch is right.
Demolition job.
Yeah, after that win, like we talk about Wales and to a certain extent Ireland being a momentum team in certain ways. England are definitely that in terms of a big away win, a big scalp. Also, avenging, like in terms of their last six, it's a curiosity that their last 2 Six Nations games have been against Ireland.
Yes,
and it's a win. It's a loss, a home loss avenged. So they'll be very happy with that. Huge scalp. A win in Ireland, which a lot of those boys are used to playing over in Ireland over the last few years and getting no success, be it particularly at club level, but also at international level. So that'll be huge feather in the cap. Really good confidence and trust in the coach, because I think after last year there were question marks, whereas this time they came into a game with a plan, executed it, and it worked.
Yeah, and credit Eddie Jones again just for getting the boys back on board with just rugby tactics. Yeah, he started focusing on the game of rugby.
This is it,
and that's the key. And the key to all things. And they should. You should be looking for them to kick on. You should be looking for to see evidence of improved defence in the centres.
Yeah.
You should be looking to see that defence maintaining its line speed, because that's the key thing. When you come off a big match, you find it like defences actually can shift for the big games. You see it a lot. Like teams just up their line speed by a degree or several degrees. This is not, the game against Ireland or the game against Wales. This is a chance.
It is their first home game of the tournament.
It's a chance to see what their actual defensive system is going to look like going forward.
Yeah,
and I would think ahead of the Wales game and even the Scotland game on the last weekend,
they want to have a few creases ironed out.
Yeah, exactly. You be looking, certainly Scotland. Gregor Townsend will be looking just to see those frailties that he exposed last year still there at all. And Ireland didn't test that at all.
No, this was a big problem we had with the Ireland performance, was just that where they have been suspect in the most recent test has been in that 12 channel. There's new personnel there. It's Tuilagi, and we have this again. We're shooting this before the teams are named, but I'd assume they'll be sticking with that after the success.
I would like to see them outside of Itoji, who's obviously gone, which hurts. I would still think
they do have a lot of options.
More or less the same team. The only thing is, Itoji was the only man to make a steal all day last week. Curry had a big game. Curry, I think, is a guy you want to back. You want to see him grow into the jersey.
Well, you just want to have that 7 role be part of the idea in the team. So Underhill's probably the incumbent still, even though he's injured. So once he's back from injury, probably does go straight in there. But Curry's a guy you want come World Cup time as those options. So
it's good to see it. Like, it's another thing that Eddie Jones just perplexingly abandoned, was the idea of an open side flanker being a thing. Yeah, and he's back on board. We have open side flankers,
which shows a good sign of just being able to recognise problems and solve them.
They had so many problems, and they're slowly and surely getting solved. And like, listen, in terms of bigging up an English team's confidence, I don't think there could be a more obliging opponent
than this French team in Twickenham.
Yeah, I mean, just
if they couldn't close out that game against Wales in Paris, they're not going to be able to go to Twickenham.
If England can replicate anything like the pace they put on the game, culminated with their power, which is
considerable.
It's like France are obviously strong, but England, they put a bit more on everything that they're doing, or certainly they did last week. They put a bit more on every contact, and if England
bring anywhere like that bullishness,
if they can bring the pace, if Ben Youngs can at all perform similarly to last week, keep the speed of the ball good, wouldn't be the worst game to see Dan Robson get a run out for perhaps a bit longer than he did last week.
Maybe,
and obviously persisting with Farrell at 10, it could be good profit for some good English tries. And
I suspect so.
In Twickenham.
Yeah. Some potential Ash splashing either off the bench or from starting. I don't know if they'll rotate that much. Johnny May, I would suspect, will get on the scoreboard.
Crazy, isn't it? What a world! Like, it's almost like the Italy game, France at home. They're just not going to lose it, and you could think about rotating your squad. It's like it's one of those.
It's baffling, but like, of all we did break down a lot of what France did or didn't do, and that's including the last game, but also the last year. Just their inability to lose even like tight games, getting them into the position. There's also a historical factor of them generally underperforming in Twickenham and getting riled by that occasion, as well as I think currently England are just slightly better, more consistent. They're more set in like, even though we've been calling like a few problems, things like centre pairings and back row as just issues, there's still a structure there that the team are on board with. There are still personnel who are used to playing together, who are there. There are combinations. They have world class halfbacks on their day.
Certainly a world class 10.
Certainly a world class 10. I can't see past England doing this, and I actually suspect it will be another 5-pointer.
Yeah,
because I
probably.
think there are tries
They're
there
just-
to be coughed up.
Exactly.
Unless France bring an unholy performance out of nowhere,
Well,
which is not
they-
beyond
they-
them, but it's
Yeah, they probably need similar to what they needed last week. It's just less likely in Twickenham. But certainly England, defensively over the last year, they were great against the All Blacks. They were great against Ireland. They brought that line speed. But on those non-massive occasions, they have been, lethargic. They've been sloppy in the middle of the park. They've coughed up yards and exposed at times by quick ball out wide. So France, again, pick your moments, flood those channels. Outside of that, peg them back.
Yeah.
Try and do that. Try and when you get some go forward ball, if you see some space, attack it. We don't know what kind of French team will be selected.
No.
Whether it be the
Will
same
there be
team
some
or
consistency?
50 new guys.
This is it. You just never know.
So
or what their particular roles on that particular day will be.
No, indeed, how they're going to approach it. They certainly shouldn't, as much as they could have last week, approached it very tight and very forward oriented. They should reserve that kind of play for being perhaps in the final third of the park where things tighten up a bit.
Yeah.
But getting there is going to be key. It's absolutely fine in the early doors to test England's defence, flood some channels, but I would like to see them work a good kicking game into what they have, because it needs some structure and it needs some control. And I'd like to see Cami Lopez take charge of that team, because I think without that, I don't know if they've any chance really going forward. I think they need a halfback to take control, and it shouldn't be Morgan Parra.
Yes, you're very, very adamant on that one. I think it should be Machino, personally.
Agreed, but he's not in the squad.
He's not in the squad.
Yeah.
But I don't know. Like, I would love to see Dupont getting a run out for them as well, just because of on form and like the fact that he's like a pretty robust tackler, quick and nippy, but also physical and combative. It kind of blends reasonably well. If you're going to be allowing Cammy to make a load of decisions for it, he can be quick provider for that, as well as kind of a forward scrum half is what I associate. I think a lot of forwards would enjoy playing with a guy like Dupont, because he does things like mind the pill at maul time, which was something you were zeroing in on Parra. He made one error last week.
Right.
He joined them all and didn't, and then they got sacked. And it's like, that's not something that you see Dupont allow happen.
God, the guy annoys me.
I know he does.
It's one of those things where in a maulless forms, the scrum half needs to watch where the ball is, because at any moment a lumbering opposition arm is going to get his hands on the ball,
doing the front crawl through the maul.
All of a sudden, it's a scrum the opposition, and Parra joined the maul and then was at the back of the maul driving and wasn't on the ball.
Adding his considerable 72 kilos.
But more than that, just trapping the ball inside the maul, so when it came to deck, a Welsh body fell on the wrong side and they won the scrum, and it was just utterly depressing. Now it's free scrum half play. The other thing you see scrum halves doing is just walking away from mauls. You should never do that.
Shouting at the 10 while there's like a big long-limbed guy. Like it's painful to watch when it's your own team doing it, because you're screaming impotently from either the sideline or the screen. Going, come on, no, watch the ball.
There it goes. So scrum halves got to be watchful of that, and those are those little things that Parra's game is probably missing. That Dupont, I think, does bring.
I do, and he's been the form player of all of them. I think even more so than Baptiste Saran, who I was all for his inclusion last year. And the fact that he's in and around the squad is a good thing. He's not really the guy to seize control of it, though. He kind of becomes a passenger in terms of he can be a facilitator. He's quick enough. I certainly think
it's so harsh to judge a lot of these guys, just because we're talking about ideals, but they're not getting any coaching.
This is it.
That's more than anything else. What you'd like to see is a bit of coaching, a bit of structure, a bit of just some foundations. I know it's February of a World Cup year.
A lot to ask.
But given the entire how things have gone this whole cycle that we're asking for, it's still
a rotation of
February
coaches. They have been getting coaching, but it's all been inconsistent coaching. They had a new attack coach last year, and then they got rid of him, and then they got a new defence coach. So then it was like they were playing a very defensive-minded game in the Six Nations. Effective defence, but impotent attack. They were just rudderless with ball in hand. And then in the summer, they showed some good signs. They were doing that thing with the centres on the wing, and they had a few structures that played them into the game. Looked dangerous. Were a bit more defensively porous. We've only found out subsequently because they were just changing the coaches all the time, as well as the players. So it's like there's no way of getting a run of games of any consistency, and therefore no banked confidence.
That's why the only play is to just take structure out of the equation and make it a mad game. That's the only play, because you have no structure.
Which seems baffling. But
then you get tired quicker than everyone else. So it is. It's just.
I don't see a route to success.
It's all England all day, son.
Yes, it is. Yeah. But it's like, it's one of those things. It's a good little phrase I've heard before, where it's like, confidence is based on evidence. And it's true.
That's
like
true.
you can't be confident unless you've done things before and seen them work. Which is why England gained a lot of confidence from their first play last week, because they were doing it all week to try and expose in those wide channels. And the first attacking set they had, it worked. They can stick to it, and then it comes up later in the game. They're the confident ones. Conversely, France, yes, they're making it chaotic, but the second they get tired and the second they're in a game, they have no evidence in the locker of them winning these scenarios or making these scenarios work. It's like, what did we do the last time that won the game? Oh, that never actually happened in any of what we've done.
That's right. You feel like
we've only ever lost the game from here.
Regardless of the context, whether they were 16-0 up or 16-0 down, or it was trickling along all the way, you feel like if a game gets to 16-all at 60 minutes, both sides are gonna have a moment to sit with that fact and reset for the final, quarter
or whatever
of the game, and you feel like France are especially ill-equipped to deal with those kinds of moments, and those contexts and those situations emerge so commonly in the Six Nations.
Yes, they're all those are exact. That's exactly what gets tested in these Six Nations games, and it's exactly the intangible that makes us love these games. It's like even when sometimes the rugby on show, quality wise, isn't up to what we would consider. So sometimes there are a lot of mistake-ridden games, error-strewn games, but you still feel that tension, and you still feel there's a question mark over who's going to be the team who are going to navigate that part of the game better, and they're going to be the ones that are going to get the result. And this France team are just consistently not doing that, and it's because no means
for starters,
to do so.
they've no experience, they've no, and then structure is the key one. Like, that's the thing to lean on, especially when you're tired. You need to have something to go back on. You talk about it at any level in rugby training. Just when you lose your energy, they need to have like a system to fall back on. You need to be directed. No, you go here, you go there. I know where I am. I know where my inside man is. I know where my outside man is. I know what we do in these situations. It really helps a tired brain. But then when you don't have any of that and it's all heads up, it's all flooding channels.
Your captain's going to throw a speculative nonsense pass.
It was a crazy call, but the only reason he made that call is because
he didn't know what else.
He wasn't directed to do anything else by anybody.
And yes, you'll make the valid point that as a second row forward in that midfield thing, you should be knowing that you're off sloppy ball from your 10. Your only job is to hit that contact and try and win it. But that's
you're not
beside
actually
the point.
Presented with that argument or that philosophy or that job itself from your coaches. Like,
so
it's just
it's hard to blame, because it's like it's one isolated error in a performance that was littered with many isolated errors that ultimately cost them the game, but it feels born of just no knowledge of what they should be doing or how they should be gelling together. And as such, in the context, to pivot back to the preview element for this game, I just can't see anything other than England really putting up a show. To be honest, I think it's going to be tight enough for the first 10-20, but I think England will probably grab tries in the first half and then more in the second.
I agree with you. And the potential stalling of that might be a mixture of their pack fronting up physically and not letting England over the gain line, and their attack flooding some channels that England are
causing some problems.
That's what you'd hope to see. In Twickenham, it's a tall order, but it remains to be seen. Probably 5-0 England.
That's gotta be the spread anyway. I'll give France a nice 23 points.
That's 5 table points. To none. Not 5-0. Which would be rather an interesting, a baffling game. That's the way it goes. I wonder what the picture of a 5-0 win to England in Twickenham would be. Good.
I don't think we're going to find out this weekend.
No, indeed.
Thank you very much for watching that video. If it's your first time here, please leave a like and subscribe down below, and leave a comment as well if you enjoyed it, because we enjoyed the conversation.